Today we're going to do a short splice, and basically from this part of the rope here to this part here, this has been spliced along here. It's two separate ropes that have been spliced together. There could be a number of reasons for that. One is you could have a damaged piece of rope and you want to take the damaged section out, and so what you do is you cut out the damaged section, butt it up together or marry it up together, and then splice in both directions to join the rope again. Or you may have a short piece of rope and you just want to extend the length of it with another piece of rope, and so therefore you splice two ropes together. Now also, before we carry on and do that, let me go to The Art of Knotting and Splicing Day, United States Naval Institute. And in there, for the short splice, it says the following: the short splice is the strongest way to join the ends of two ropes. It is stronger than a long splice, but it increases the diameter of the rope so that it cannot be run over a sheave. So in other words, that is the one drawback of this particular method, is that it does increase the size of your rope at the point where you have put your short splice in. So anyway, what we're going to do now is I will show you from start to finish a quick and easy way of tying a short splice or creating a short splice in a piece of rope. So please, if you enjoy this video, please share it, and yeah, thumbs up, thumbs down, you know the routine. Leave me a comment, tell me all about it, and I will see you on the other side. So let's get knotting. Okay, so stop saying okay, Johnny. So what we've got here is we've got our two lengths of rope that we're going to tie together. And now the thing is, with regards to this particular rope, because it is a synthetic rope, I'm going to do 5 tucks. I've read somewhere, but don't quote me on this again, but if you're using natural fibres, the minimum amount of tucks that you need is 3. But when you're using synthetic fibres like this, which are quite slippery, the minimum amount of tucks you need in your rope is 5 tucks. And so in this particular case here, I am using a synthetic rope, and therefore when I join these two bits of rope together, I'm going to need to put 5 tucks in it to make sure that it's really secure. Now there is also a formula for working out how far back you need to put your constrictor knot. You can see here on this one and this one here, I've put a constrictor knot at the right place of my cordage, where these two are going to eventually marry up, and then the tucks will go on either side. And the formula for knowing where to put these, I read this somewhere and I can't for the life of me find it anymore, but I read somewhere that what you do is you calculate, you go 3 times the number of tucks that you're going to use. So in our particular case, it's 3 times 5, and then you multiply that by the diameter of the rope, and in this particular case it's a 15mm diameter rope, so it's going to be 3 times 15 times 5 equals 225, and so therefore from that end to there where I've put that constrictor knot is 225, and once again in this knot here, sorry, at that point there, from there to there is 225. And so that is how we calculate where we are going to put our seizing to prevent the rope coming undone any further. And as you can see with this particular rope, it's not very hard lay, it's fairly floppy, so you really do need to put a nice constrictor knot. And if you don't know how to do the constrictor knot, I will put a link in the description below and you can see how to tie a constrictor knot. Really, that knot is one you really need to learn. So anyway, I'm going to go on to the next section now, where we're actually going to unravel the cords and marry them up together. Right, so as you can see, what I've done is I have unraveled my cordage all the way back to the constrictor knot on both sides here. Now the next thing we need to do is we need to marry these cords up. So basically what I'm going to do is just pull my leads back like so. You don't need to do it like this. This is just so it's easy for you to see. So you can see now where my cords are coming from my constrictor knot. And if I do the same on the other side, like so, and what we want to do is we want to just put them up together so that they go in between each other. So we don't have two on one side, but they go in between each other like so. And so once we know they're in between each other, what we can do is just pull the cords naturally in the direction that they should be traveling, like so, like so. Let's see, like so, like so. And so now all our cords are now going in the direction that they should be, and they're crossing over at this point here. And what we want to do is just bring that up nice and tight so that when these two marry up, they are actually butting up hard against each other, just where those two constrictor knots. We won't be able to get the constrictor knots right close to each other because we do have the thickness of rope to deal with, but that's what we want to do. We basically want to have it so that the top rope is the green one here, is going there. The next one, next green rope, is going in the other direction, like so. We then have a yellow one going in this direction. Whoa, look, we don't have a yellow one going in the other direction. And so there we go. I've now got the yellow one going in the other direction, and then the reds cross over at that point there, go in that direction. If I turn that over, you'll see there that where the two yellows meet, they're both going in opposite directions to each other. And then what we do is just pull that up fairly tight, and we can pull it up tighter as we actually create the tucks. So now what we've done is, if I spread those out, you can see here now we have married our rope up, and those cords are roughly going in the directions that they go. So the next thing we're going to do is now start creating our tucks for our cordage to go through. Right, so what we're going to do now is we're going to do our very first tuck, and I'm going to work from left to right. So I'm going to start tucking in this direction here, and I'm going to just pick the first colour that I come to, and the nearest colour to me at the moment is the yellow one. Now if we make sure that they are hard up against each other, both ends of the rope here, we can see here that the yellow one, the closest piece next to it, is the red one. So what we want to do is open up the red cord here like so. So we open it up, and once we've got ourselves a gap in there, you can see I've put a gap in there. There's a nice gap there in that red one now, and I can now pass my yellow one in through that gap that we've created in the red one, and then just gently twist it, because we want to keep the lay of the rope, and you might get a kink in it. Keep the lay of the rope as it is and pull it up nice and tight. Okay, so that's the first one done. So as you can see, the yellow one has gone underneath the red one. If we now move it round to this side here, the next colour I come to is the green one. And if I just lay that there like that, you can see now that the green one is actually there next to a yellow one. Yes, it is crossing a red one, but that red one is that lead there, and we don't want to tuck under that lead there. So basically what I'm going to do now is create a hole in the yellow one. So go there, bring up a hole in the yellow one, and then pass the green lead through. And don't forget, keep the twist in it, because what we want to do is just ensure that the rope doesn't unlay too much. There we go. And then just pull that up nice and tight. And then the final one we've got here, we've got the red one here, and you can see if I just bring the red one over like this, the closest one to it that it can pass through is the green one. So there's the green one, and we want to go through that hole there of the green one, and I've just made a hole there, and next thing I do is just pass my red one through that hole and then pull up nice and tight, and then just gently go round, pull them all up nice and tight, because we want to make sure that those two ropes are butting up as hard as they can to each other. And there we go, we've now done that. We've done our first tuck on this particular rope. So there's our first tuck done. Now the next thing we want to do is do our second tuck. Now I'm going to pick the nearest one to me, which happens to be the green one here. And as you can see, the green one is coming out here next to another green one. But what we're doing is we're doing an over and under pattern. So we want to go over that green one and under that red one there. So I'm just going to open it up again, like so. And as you can see, I have opened up a channel there on the red one. And this green one is going to go over the green one and through that hole that I've created there, like so. Just pull it up nice and tight. I've got a twist in it, take that twist out, there we go, and then pull that up tight. Go around to the next one. The next one I've got here is my red one. As you can see, it comes out from underneath the green. It wants to go over the red one there and in through the yellow one. So I'll make a hole there in the yellow one. So there's my hole in the yellow one. We'll pass it over the red, through the yellow, and there we go. That's our second tuck for the red one done there, like so. And give it a twist, make sure the lay stays the same. That's it. And then the final one we've got here is we have got the yellow one. And let's just pull that up nice and tight. And you can see the yellow one here. And we've got a red cord, which is part of the main piece here. So what we do is we open up a gap there like so, open up a gap, take the yellow one over the yellow, in through that gap that we've created there, and we now have all three strands have all done 2 tucks. Pull it up tight, give it a roll to push it into place so it's all nice and neat and even. So there we go. As you can see, all 3 cords now are coming out at exactly the same point around the rope itself. Right, so as you can see, I have now done 5 tucks in this part. That's at this point here is where the 2 ropes joined, and going to the right, I have now done 5 tucks in my cordage, and that will be sufficient. I can put more tucks in to give me an additional sense of security, but from what I understand is with synthetic ropes, the minimum is 5 tucks. Yes, so in any words, if that's the minimum, you can put a couple of, I've got room here for a couple of extra tucks. I could put a couple of extra tucks in to give myself additional strength. Now the next thing I've also done, which I forgot to show you, was I've undone the first constrictor knot, which was in that point there. But as you can see here, there is my other constrictor knot holding everything in place. Let's just make sure it's still pulled up tight. Yep, that's still tight. And so what I want to do now, oh, that cordage looks rough. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is just turn it over, only because I'm right-handed. And now, what I'm going to do is, I'm going to take my leads, just let's pull them up tight, make sure, just to ensure it is tight up against that constrictor knot. So there's my constrictor knot. Here are my 4 strands. Let's just pull them up to make sure everything's nice and tight. And my cord is still hard against each other. And so we're going to take the first one that we come to, in this particular case, this one here, and it's going to go over my constrictor knot, and if I just lay it flat like that, the first one to the next to it is the red one. So what I'm going to do now is just make a hole in my red cord here and pass the green through it like so. There you go. Anyway, if you enjoy these videos, please thumbs up, thumbs down, but tell me why if you don't like it. Please do leave a comment. I do reply to all comments. I'm not too famous to reply yet, so please do leave me a comment and tell me what you think. Okay, so the next chord we come to is we've got the yellow one here. And if I just lay it like this, you'll see that the yellow one is closest to the green one there. And so we're going over that red one and then through the hole for the green one. And so just make a hole like so and pass the yellow one through. There we go. Like so. Just give it a twist so that we keep the lay. And then the next one I come to is my red one here, and my red one wants to pass over my constrictor knot and go underneath the yellow one there. So I make a hole and we're going to pass it through that yellow one like so and work our way along. And there we go, we have it. Now also at this point, if we want to, which I'm going to do, is I'm going to take out my constrictor knot because I can still see it. There we go, constrictor knot's out. Just pull it up all nice and tight because we want that still butting up against each other. And now the next thing I do is the next colour that I can see is nearest to me is the red one. It wants to pass over the red one and under the green. So we make a gap in the green like so, pass the red one through. There we go. And we have our second tuck on the red one. And so we have it. I've now completed the short splice in my rope, and that rope is only about 5% less efficient than if it was a complete rope. So in other words, it is very, very strong. And like I said in the description below, or like I said, I'll put in the description below the actual strength that this rope has lost or gained. No, lost. It'll always lose strength when it's put a knot in it. And the next thing I would do on this particular knot is I would cut those off short, melt the ends. If it was natural fibres, cut them off and then put some whipping on the end just to prevent them coming undone. But there we have it. We have 1 in number short splice in our rope, and a short splice is fantastic. If you've got a damaged rope and you want to fix that damaged piece of rope, cut out the damage, splice it together. But the only thing I will say to you is that because it is spliced, it is now thicker. It's now thicker at that point, thicker at that point there than that point there. So if this rope actually passed through something that was a specific size for this rope, you'll probably find that it won't work passing it through there anyway because of the additional thickness in there. However, once the church bell rope needed doing, it had become frayed, I had cut out a section, spliced it with a short splice, and I can tell you now those bells are still ringing on a Thursday night and a Sunday. So anyway, there we have it, 1 in number short splice. Okay, once again, thanks very much for watching. Thumbs up, thumbs down, leave me a comment, tell me why, tell me your experiences, tell me anything you want, and I promise I will answer it, even if it's off topic, okay? So once again, thanks for watching, and please do share this video, and I'll see you again next time. Bye-bye.